game last night was one in particular. I mean, it came to a point where, and it was, there's a lot of, if you guys would do me the service of me showing this to you, it'll kind of bounce back to the infantry section, and then we could jump into the guns real quick. I'm not gonna show you the whole game, just the end game, like the last turn or two. Because what happens is routing comes into play, and again, leaders. You being able to use your leaders to eliminate units, not just to screw them, but to eliminate them, and also just choosing route paths. It was getting really sticky for Vetus in the game. My Brits were on, they were coming, and once the Brits, and I think the key to the Brits in that game is not necessarily to destroy the Italians, but to come in, harass them. Yeah, if they get a couple breaks, it's fine. It's kind of like free. But what the Brits can primarily do, or secondarily do, is stop the Italians from routing backwards. And it happens so often at the last critical couple turns. It's just simply amazing what you'll find. Let me load that bad boy up. I don't want to spend a lot of time on it because I know you guys might want to go to guns, or we'll cover whatever you want, but it was just such an odd game. Oh my god, I can't. Here we go. All right, you guys can link to me now. I don't want to start the log file, and this is just halfway. We are at actually the beginning of turn 5. Let me know when everyone is synced up. That is here. I know Craig might be on his way. I think he was playing another game. And so on and so forth. So, but if everybody's got this one going, if you are familiar with Ambitious Assault, this is in Starter Kit 2. So it's I don't know, it's probably the first one, Starter Kit 2, S9. It's the Italians versus the Americans and Brits. The victory conditions are, you could see the little red giant little cut off hexagon, and I've highlighted again. Victory conditions, and this comes into play at the end of the game. Very important how this comes into play at the end of the game in terms of my decision making, and again, going into close combat, not going in. Oh Jesus, I'm so stupid. There we go. All right, so it's either going into close combat or not going into close combat. All these decisions are huge, and lots of little nuances that happen right here at the end game. A summary at the beginning of the game. You see my guys, the Americans on the right-hand side. 9-2 decided we're trying to do a pan over to the left-hand side. We got a rush on. Let me tab forward just to show you that it's. This is the end of his advance phase. So we go to. This is the beginning of American turn 5. I have 2 turns. I have 2 turns to break all the Italians in the game. And as you can see, I haven't done much of a job at that. So, me being able to do what I wanted to do was nothing. The first 3 turns, the Americans literally did nothing. I think they finally broke the units in 05, which was Thamad, 8-1 and a squad on the big old machine gun. He may have mouthed it and repaired it. You know, it's an HMG. You can repair those things quicker in daylight. So anyway, that's pretty much all that happened in the first 3 turns of the game. I literally rolled 9s and 10s, got 0 on that. Moral of the story is, in this scenario, if he puts his HMGs up there, you got to Stackberg it. You got to Stackberg the 9-2 with your big fat stack. You can get at max range from G7, safest spot, and otherwise you have to move up closer, it takes time. You can get like a 12 shot, and you can clear those guys out of stone buildings in the first level. If you can do that by turn 3, the rest of the games go smoothly, but it didn't happen. He moved his medium from here to the back, which is not good, because now he's kind of covering the backside versus my British coming on. And yeah, it's not looking good from this point, especially turn 5. It's like, oh shit, you know. And we had taken a 2-month break. You know, we both kind of got, you know, burned out a little bit or whatever. So we jumped back on it last night. So up at the top, DM, conscript unit up there. He'll never rally. We got a broken LMG here, couple squads, and all these guys here are the big ones. This is my biggest, honestly, my biggest concern is this stack here. Because if his best leader rallies those 3 units, I've got nobody down there to go break him. I mean, Briggs is down there, but he's got to fight at HMG to get over there. And we got Stu back here in the back with the 747. I mean, charging in the open ground against 3 squads and HMG, not really what I kind of want to do. Savage is on the left-hand side over here with the Brits medium, light, 3 squads. We got a squad with LMG here. And then we got a trio of squads here. Briggs down here kind of flanking the side. Gonna help Stu out, hopefully on the bot side, because Stu's just... maybe I got sick. I'm stuck in the crapper in the back somewhere. I don't know. But, so let me zoom out just a bit. I'm gonna go 120. And usually when I zoom in about 120 or 130, it kind of fills up the whole... For me, it fills up the whole screen. So, oh god, that's too close. And if I'm a bit sluggish today, just slap me. My sleep has been shit. I got sick over the weekend, and my energy levels may not be up to par for you guys, so I apologize for that starting off. But so my plan here is I've got to initially, right now, I got to break guys essentially with every single shot for all intents and purposes. These guys have to break soon. And I just have to keep them DM. I don't have to kill. Remember, you don't have to kill people. It's unbroken Italian units. These guys got to break. He is secondary. These guys are primary. And the HMG, which he doesn't, which I reminded him to pick up, is another primary source. These guys have to stay DMs as well. So I've got 3 key targets. 1, 2, 3. If I can manage those, then I can bum rush everybody else at the end of the game with all my units. That's kind of the shit plan that I have. So we're gonna have some bouncing Betty going on here. He does rally 1 unit, which isn't that bad. He rallies a conscript in 03 under this big bad boy here. That's the best situation I could hope for. So I was happy that happened. I reminded him to pick up the HMG. He recovers it with a 2. And so Mike, the question that we have here. The issue that we have is, remember, gentlemen, if you prep fire, you cannot move. I have 2 movement phases to either close with the enemy or break the enemy. So Savage is thinking, okay, I've got to be... I don't even know who the hell I fired. I must have had to fire the beat. Yeah. I fire... I think I was stacking that really weird. I fired the medium and a couple guys. I need to break this guy because he's got firepower. He's got the medium machine gun, squad. I really can't walk down here without getting shot to hell, right? Can go over here. He's got 2 squads here. He's got 2 potential shots. 2-2s are not fun. You'll see that in a second. And these guys down here as well. This guy moving the back, if he goes to either one of these hexes, that's probably going to be an LOS, maybe, to the HMG. Again, you've got to take these LOSs into consideration. So he might try to bait out a shot, and this guy down here, again, porous boards is in LOS to the HMG down here. So the HMG can see pretty much everybody. That's a good spot for it. So let's fly through here. I do prep fire Cooper again. Do I prep him or do I smoke in advance? That's my question. Well, if I smoke in advance, technically he gets the first shot. So if I prep, I can, and if I break him, again, gotta use the -2 leader while you have it. That was my decision making going throughout this game here is, I misused him early. I've got to use him now to get him out of the building. Every single unit counts. He's not gonna rally once he breaks. So I get some decent rolls there, and I've got a stack of guys here that could actually essentially just bum rush that guy there. So smoking and just moving there really doesn't get me anything, because that just gives me 8 firepower. It gives me 1 more chart, plus it gives him first shot. I don't want him to get first shot. I broke earlier, and it's like, no, I need to take a shot. So down here, now we're moving this here and here. These may not be the best moves, so, but in terms of desperation, I pretty much either want to bait his fire and cause him to lose rate of fire in his HMG, because I've got to bait it with somebody. But we'll see what happens here. So he takes a fire at him. He gets a 3, rips him to shreds. So he's gone, and he's got ready to fire. So I lose a squad for nothing. Another unit says, oh, let's go for it. 1, 2, 3, 4. He goes up here. His conscript unit fires over here, no effect. Medium opens up on me, he shreds him. So I lose 2 squads. I lose all my guys pretty much on the bottom side for a couple 4s, -2s. So -2s are bad even if they're on low charts, people. If he rolls low, you're gonna pay. Even if they broke, it would have helped a lot better. But just evaporating really cost me. But this first fire is really, really helpful. Really helpful. And we'll see what happens in a second there. I'm not sure what's going on here. We're doing the bouncing Betty. I think we're talking about where I need to go. I was in open discussion with him on this one here. Just simply because it's kind of like a retribution from the last one. Moving up my LMGs here. This unit here, you say, Stu, probably why didn't you move up closer? Well, because if he starts to skulk off of this building, because my giant stack's going to move up, I'm essentially covering the top lines over here. He's probably not going to skulk down. He might go here or down. So I want to make sure I get up here, and he might have an LOS to this unit. Not that it's that big a deal, but that's kind of where we're going with that. And this unit here, 6 firepower into +1 woods. I'll take that all day, considering there's 6 morale units. And if I move close to him and I break, that's going to be 12 firepower to him. 12 plus 0 here if you move here, or 6 plus 3. You know, if I move there, it's still going to be a 6+1 shot there. This in the advanced fire phase is a 2+1. It's pretty much almost very similar, same thing, but the risk is almost gone. The risk is gone from there. Again, game decision. I didn't really get too close. Stu over here. You notice I CX him here. Where do you think I'm going with this guy, gentlemen? Okay, low. Look at Briggs. Low. Forgot Briggs. Look what I did with Briggs. I moved Briggs here. He didn't bother to fire at him, right? Well, what happened when I got there? I DM'd the other units right here. Primary mission accomplished. DM these units so they can't rally. What's Stu gonna do way the hell back here? Where am I going? N3, I'm getting close over there. Right, I started E3. Where do you think I'm gonna make it? I'm gonna go over in this area here. I think I end up in L3. And guess what? Can he fire at me with the LMG?
That would be a no.
Right. He could fire at me is right here, and that's +2 hindrances. The rest of it's out of LOS, even down here, because of this building here, out of LOS to his HMG, or actually his L. This unit might be able to crack a shot right there. That'd be a hell of a slice of a shot. That would, but hey, I gotta take my chances. And he's CX, so. But I keep going, and boom. So what does this do for me here? I end here. Talk to me about these units.
Well, it certainly means that those DM squads can't go to either N3 or N2.
Right.
And they now can't go to P3 or O2. So they now have exactly one location they can grout to.
Which is which one?
O4.
Okay.
They could look all, yeah. But the question would be, right now, okay, yep, there you go.
So
yep.
We got Cooper at prep fired, and he can't move. These 2 units are now eliminated for failure to route. Because I got Cooper up here, he can't go here, he can't go this way, and the little leader, the little engine that could, is doing his duty. And he actually first fired on me, so not that it's that big a deal. Stone building's good. These 2 broken units, because he didn't rally him, are now dead. Huge change for me. And I still have this unit to move back here, so we'll continue. That was a big route situation there. I primarily wanted to just DM him and then come over here so he can't route forward and, you know, hide in a nook and cranny and then rally later. This happened to be a bonus. I really didn't kind of spot this until later. It's like, oh wait, there's that wonky LOS way down that line, and that's really going to screw him. So that worked to my advantage. My big stack, I'm moving it as a stack. You say, Stu, why are you moving as a stack? Well, one, you have to size up your enemy, right? So we've got giant stack like this. If these are Germans, 6.58s, 4.68s, LMGs, 5.48s LMG, 8 firepower, 6 firepower and above, might not be such a good deal. But he's 2 firepower, 4 firepower at most in any situation. I'm a 9 morale leader. Likely the leader is going to pass a morale check. If he gets to be a normal morale check, all those units under him are going to pass morale checks. So I need the mobility of the leader at this point in the game to get my ass moving, so I get a position. I may have to take some shots. That's just part of the game. So I move 3 there, and I just drop shitloads of smoke. There's a smoke here, and then I continue moving on. He got pinned because he rolled a 6, and then the rest of the guys moved on. So I can't wait for you, MMG. You're shit out of luck, you know. And so I just gotta keep moving on here. Now again, is this an unhindered LOS from the 346 to here? Is that unhindered or is it hindered?
Not with the smoke there.
Right, it's a hindered shot. So even though he's in open ground, that shot will still be affected by the smoke. And this guy's broken. These guys are out of LOS. These guys are out of LOS. It's essentially, quote, a free move. I mean, I've been broken before by that, as well as you guys have too. This unit's going to try and do some dirty work. He comes up the top, and this guy's going to be the one trying to put the pressure on the mid. So we continue moving. I don't want to waste too much time. He final fires. He fires a couple guys here and there. I advance fire. I do break that guy again. American firepower. Smoke is gone in the advanced fire or the end of the moon phase. My firepower is what from these units? What's the firepower on this column with O'Neill?
Well, eight column.
Right, straight up 8 column. Yeah. 8 plus 2, good column. Right, 6 to roll. I don't know what I rolled. If you get a normal morale check, the guy's gonna break. So I got 2 broken units. That's a good deal. And the Brits. Talk to me about this shot here. What's the firepower on this shot here? Advanced fire phase. Is this a legal shot? I DM'd this unit here when I rolled a 6 when I fired this unit. What's the firepower of this unit? Advanced fire phase.
Which unit?
U5. U5 to P9. How much firepower do I have to bring to bear upon that hex? Got a 4.57 and a 2 machine gun, 2.7 machine gun.
Oh, you do have 2.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's just within normal range of the LMG.
Right.
Yeah.
And the squad is quartered, halved for advanced fire and halved for long range.
Okay. So the firepower is?
Yeah, the firepower is 2, but the British don't cower.
Correct.
So 2 plus 3, if you roll snake eyes, since you don't cower, that's just enough for normal morale check.
Exactly. Any other nationality, although, you know, fanatics, I don't even know if they exist in here, but the Briters allowed this to happen. If I couldn't take that shot, he would have been DM'd. If this was the Americans, with that same shot, no leader, no DM. The Brits have that ability to do that. I did it to him twice near the end game. DM this unit. We'll see what happens with him later. So that was a lucky shot for me because remember, it's his turn, rally phase next turn. That's potentially one of his self-rally units. Pretty much the only self-rally unit that he has. Again, right down here is when we start discussing his routing capabilities. I say, hey, nope, we got Cooper up there. Those guys are evaporated. These guys here, he moves back, and then he tries to move further. Oh, he starts to say, the discussion comes up, if I could ignore this building, because you can ignore that building when you start routing, right, gentlemen? I mean, if you start in a building, doesn't matter if it's 400 hexes long, you can ignore the entire building for routing purposes. So he says, well, I want to route here, here, and then want to go up here. That's kind of where I want to go. I said, no. You've still, if you're going to ignore the closest cover, which would be either one of these hexes, which he could ignore either one because they're not getting further away from particular units, and this is the same building that he starts in, he can go somewhere else. Now, where would his destination be if he ignores these adjacent hexes? Where would he have to go?
2, 3, 4, 5. My guess, 2, 3, 4, 6. 2, 3. Well, he can't get up the hill.
Okay, but can
2,
he?
7.
But can he go there? I just want to find out where he can go to, because sometimes you can't quite reach there, right?
Oh, okay, yeah.
So where can he go to in your guys'? What do you guys see here? Anybody could chime in at any time. L5, M5. How far are those away? 5 movement factors, is that right? You guys could chime in. I'd love to hear your wonderful voices.
Yeah.
L5, M5. Those.
But he'd be crossing line of sight of the units at L3.
L3. It would be really tight. This unit here has LOS to Briggs down here, so he can't go bot. And if this unit would happen to go here, now he sees Briggs and he can't go bot.
Right.
So if they decide, but go ahead.
But that doesn't matter at the moment. So he has to choose a route destination first, and that has to be, he can't take into account units he can't see at that moment.
Correct.
Right. So, so afterwards, if he does see them as he starts routing, then he has to pick a new route destination and try to get there.
Right.
But for right now, it looks like, 09 is 5 movement factors away.
Right.
Same with L5 is also 5, and then W5 is also 5. 2, 3, 4.
You're looking too far away. Although you want to move away from the Americans, you're looking too far away, and this is what a lot of players will do.
Oh, like N9, for example.
N9 is the closest in cover, and he cannot ignore that.
Yep.
Because it's 2 away from him, 3 away from him, and 3 away from him, and he can go there. So if he were to ignore this building, he says, I don't want to go here, screw that. At that point, he either goes here or he goes over here, which he pretty much doesn't want to do anyway. So that's the discussion there. So even though that looks pretty like, okay, I'm going to get away from him, in this situation, he's screwed because that's his only place that he could route to. Now he could low crawl here, and the next turn, if he survives, he can, well, depending on where I am, he could then try to get up there. Of course, right here, he might see some of the Britters over here, which poses a different problem. And this is what you want to take into account for next turn. If your plan is to low crawl here, you need to make sure that you don't see the LMG, which I think he does. Yeah, the LMG's in range. LMG's in line of sight at that point. Then he can't go up there anyway. So, a good routing situation where even though you think you've set up for a good retreat, because this bullshit happens in the back, you might consider getting out of Dodge before the train leaves the station, right? So you got to make sure that if you, well, they're going to break, that you've got somewhere to route. They've got nowhere to route, for all honesty. And we talk about where he can go, and Briggs blocking everything and the whole 9 yards. So the only place he ends up is stacked on his leader. And guess where I'm going? I'm going to advance right on top of him. So Briggs limits those guys. This gets the goddamn bouncing Betty. And then the unit up here, he says he wants to route. He wants to route over here, which is a good idea in theory. But the problem is this unit has LOS to, again, Cooper on top. Cooper on top has LOS to this location, and he can't get closer to that unit. That would be a fun spot for him to go to, because it would get him away from a hot spot and get him into cover where hopefully he can route or rally later. Didn't happen. So we checked LOS on that one, blocked. He's got to stay right where he is. All right, so all my guys advance up. He pretty much prep fires. I try to take a shot with O'Neill right here. From here to here, I try to take that shot from me. It looks clear. It looks clear as a bell, and I'd rip him a new one, but it ends up being blocked, so I blow that. And how many movement factors does this guy have, gentlemen? Leader and the unit below him, how many movement factors do they have without CXing?
3.
Oh, with the leader.
Oh, with the leader, you get 5. Yeah.
Right, so he moves 1, 2, 3, 4, and he wants to go here, doesn't quite have enough, but he can go here and here. He chooses not to. But he didn't see this, and so I try to rip him a new one down there, and this guy fires. I mean, I fire like everybody at this guy. He fires, I get no result. He fires. I actually get a casualty reduction, and the son of a bitch passes his morale check. So he's just there's a half squad conscript that's still alive, which can still win him the game. So although I just fired the LMG because I needed my 4.57 to fire here. He still gets what he wants. So that was kind of interesting there. I'm not sure. Oh, he destroyed his HMG here. And so his squad moves over. I take a couple pot shots. Doesn't really mean anything. I actually break a unit there. No really other breaks. Let me kind of burn through this. Couple breaks, couple pins. Let me get to the last turn. Those guys. Okay, now these guys routing here. Once they route here from this location, right? They route here because his destination would be where? When he routes from this location, where's his destination? Closest cover.
One, two, either closest cover in MF is, well, he can't go to N9 from there, but he can go to 07 for 4. Can he go here? No, I'm sorry. It is probably Q7 for 4.
Okay, can he go that direction?
No, he can see this guy.
Yeah.
Right, straight down the line. So both these hexes are done. You can't go that way. Can't go here. Can't go here. The only place he can go is here.
Okay.
The only place he can go in direction. That's so by default of where enemy units are, we have to start this direction if he can go at all. So can he see this unit? The answer is no. Can he see this unit? The answer is no. Once he goes here, then he obtains line of sight to this unit. Now where can he route to?
He's got.
He's only got one
I don't
choice.
think at that point he's got nowhere to route.
Right.
He's eliminated for failure route at that point.
Well,
he has to pick a route destination, but he can't route anywhere.
He has to stop. He's not eliminated yet because he hasn't remained in the same open ground in normal range of an enemy unit. He has actually moved. He can end his route here. That is a legal ending of the route because he can't legally get closer to anything else. He has to. Now, if he started there, he'd be just failure. He'd be failure to route and just eliminated because he couldn't route anywhere, and he would be remaining in open ground in normal range of a known enemy unit. So if he started here, he would be eliminated. But since he didn't start there, he could low crawl there and say, "I'm screwed now." That's pretty much what happens to those units. So,
right. So this actually, this actually brings up a right. So in other words, he would at that moment that he is in. I'm sorry, I got to blow up the map here a little bit.
yeah, blow it up, move counters. Well, yeah.
No. So when he is in N7 and he says, "I'm going to route,"
Yes.
okay, does he have to announce that he is low crawling into N6?
Yep. If he intends to make a somewhere else, he could just low crawl to N6.
Right. Because for the moment, he could say, all right, for the moment, from where he is right there at that precise time, his nearest route destination was probably M5.
Right.
Okay, so that's probably the closest legal route destination that he has at that moment. Okay, so then at that moment, he has to announce whether he's going to try to get there or low crawl.
Correct.
Okay. And so now he low crawls into N6. That's his movement of 1 hex. He's done. It doesn't matter
Correct.
whether anybody else can interdict him at that point. You know, if he can see somebody, doesn't matter. But
Right.
let's assume he said, I'm not going to low crawl. Okay. So he thinks, for some reason, he thinks he can actually get into M5 because he doesn't think he's going to see either one of those units or whatever. So
Yep.
he starts moving. Okay. So now, since he's announced he's not low crawling, now he can't stay there, or can he stay there? According to route mechanics.
Well, first of all, you don't route as a stack. So each one of these units would route independently. So what would happen is essentially the first unit. So when you do this in your games, make sure you do not route as a stack because you will get screwed. All right. Each unit routes independently unless the leader is accompanying the unit. If the leader is broken, the leader cannot accompany the unit. Only the good order leader will accompany him, and he is eliminated if the unit fails an interdiction morale check. Eliminated, not broken, eliminated. So when the first unit attempts to route here, again, just like you say, Mark, he's not saying low crawl. He says, I'm routing here because I'm trying to get to M5. Then he says, oh shit, I see this guy. I can't get there any further, right? I have to take an interdiction from O'Neill because O'Neill's the guy who can interdict him. This guy's CX, so he can't, but he can restrict his route options. So he takes an interdiction check. I think he survives, or I don't know if he survives or not.
Right, let's assume he survives.
Yeah.
Then,
and then the next guys behind him can say, okay, then the leader can accompany this dude, say, okay, now I'm not getting screwed. I'm just going to low crawl.
Right. But
the guy who did not low crawl, the substance of the question is the guy who did not low crawl, he can't continue. He didn't declare low crawl. So he would, in effect, be eliminated for failure to route.
No. You can end your route phase in open ground, in normal range of an enemy unit. You cannot begin the route phase. If he began the route phase right here, if I broke,
but all he did was expend 1 movement factor. He was intending to expend enough to get to his target hex.
That's okay. If he were pinned by interdiction, would he be eliminated for failure to route?
No.
Okay, so
But I guess all right.
Right. Now if he starts there, the route phase in an open ground hex within normal range of an enemy unit in open ground by definition, like if the CX unit here, the +1's enough to, the same old thing, if there's no hindrances or whatever, it has to be defined as an open ground location. That would be an open ground location from O'Neill. If he's right here, this unit, technically he could route up here, but let's say there's a Britter over here, right? So he's got LOS, so it's the same situation. He can't route this direction. Then that unit in N6 would simply straight up be eliminated for failure to route because he can go no direction. And he's remaining in the same open ground hex that he started the route phase in. Simply because he didn't start the route phase there, he doesn't mean he can't end his route phase in an open ground location. Okay, do we get that? Anybody have any questions on that? It's okay to have a question because this is stuff that kind of gets ignored by most players in the route phase.
Yeah. So the question, right? So we start back again. The mechanic is he thinks he can get to M5, so he's trying to get there. He gets into N6, and he suddenly sees this unit here.
Right.
Okay, so he says, "Wait, I have to change my route destination because I cannot go to M5 any longer."
Right.
Okay, so at that moment, by the mechanic of changing your route destination is, I can stay where I am because I am not adjacent to. Because I do not technically, except of course the fact is that he does have, all right, I guess my question is Okay. I guess you're right. I guess I'm not understanding the subtlety here, because from this position right here, from N6,
Correct.
of course, he can be interdicted.
Right. And he would be if he started to route that direction. If he didn't low crawl, he would be interdicted. Let's say, and so that's the interdiction isn't the question, is can he stay there? And the answer is yes, because he didn't start there. By again, if he rolls a 5 on his interdiction morale check, he would be pinned in that location. For all intents and purposes, he just ends his route phase there. Now, so in that case, he's just pinned in open ground like any other person would be. Remember, anytime you take an interdiction check, you're in normal range of some unit. Otherwise, they can't interdict you. So anytime you're taking an interdiction check, you're in normal range of some enemy unit. When you're pinned in that open ground, doesn't mean you will be eliminated. Now, again, if N6, if that's where he started from, and he had LOS to all units, and he couldn't go any directions from where he is there, then he would just be straight up eliminated. Just straight up eliminated.
Right. Yeah. That part I get. Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
very similar to this location. Very similar to 03 down here at the beginning of the game. Although, if for those that might move on to ASL, this is going to be a different situation. But this is much more rare in a typical game because you pretty much have to be a triangle around the unit, and he's got to be in open ground, or like a backup. His back's up against the side of the map edge or some shit like that, where he's got nowhere to go, and that's where you can get the open ground elimination for failure to route. It's much rarer than you think. Eliminating them down here like I did in 03 is much more, especially in SK, is much more common an occurrence than this unit starting in open ground and having nowhere to go. Well, technically, a lot of guys will just surround them anyway, like you've done before. But in ASL, you'll see them just surrendering instead of being eliminated. So same sort of concept. But yeah, he can move there, but then he's screwed all around. Now, next turn, where can he route to? Nothing changes. Next turn, where can he route to?
Since from there he still can't see Briggs, and he can't see the British squads in T7 or B6 because of the forest.
Right. Now he can go to here.
He can go up the hill, yeah.
Now he can go to there. That will be a legal path, simply because he didn't start the route phase seeing this guy like he did back here. Now he can go up there. And that's where you might want to low crawl in the anticipation that you could try to get there. A couple 747s might have a different story to tell you if you're trying to do that, especially when you get a 5 morale on open ground. But that's the idea of trying to keep those guys alive. So, odd situation, but remember, gentlemen, not failure to route here. He is routing. He has successfully routed from the enemy unit. He's not adjacent to an enemy unit, and he didn't start in the open ground. He didn't remain in the same open ground hex that he started the route phase in. So that's okay. He's screwed, but that's okay. Because he can't legally move anymore, he just has to stop. Because that's the only destination that he has, is that hex at this point in time. Because our initial destination was M5. He wants to go there. He can't go here. He can go here and see that. Now, take for instance, let's say the Americans were up here, right? And he was broken here. Again, selecting your routes could be different. In this case, he might want to take the building, and if he takes the building, he can get to that destination because he won't see this unit at all. But if he should happen to go here, then he's screwed and he can't make it there at all.
Right, okay, yep.
Do you guys see that? If he starts here and he wants to go to M5, the path he takes dictates whether or not he can actually get there or not.
Except in this particular case, he'd see them.
Right, yeah. But in that case, yeah, if he goes to M7, he'll see him and then stop, but at least he'll be in M7. Right, you're right. But just in focusing on this guy, once he sees him, now he's just stops and he's screwed.
Okay.
So very, very odd little route. You'd think that he'd have places to go, because there's a shitload of stone buildings around him. I mean, where can't he find cover? Well, nowhere. I mean, literally nowhere this guy can find cover. At least this route phase. So very interesting route situation that came up in that picture there, because he wanted to move him there, and he's just stuck. But remember, route you guys separately. Simply because in a situation like this, if an LOS exists, then the next guy low crawls and doesn't take the interdiction.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we were just friendly. So okay, just low crawl instead. He just advances here. He does a smart thing up here. Very smart thing. What do you do there? This is going to be last turn. American turn 6. Last turn. I need to break every son of a bitch on the map. He moves him right here. Why does he do this? Well, he does it for 2 reasons that I know of, that I would have done it for. One, gets him out of this hex, so there's not a double jeopardy going on, right?
Okay, yeah, spreading.
And he can cover this road with his LMG and his gun. He's got 2 shots along this road. My Brit's got to come across. It doesn't matter. My Brit's got to come. I got to come after you. So this is a really good move. It puts him into line of fire from this guy, but if I'm firing, I'm not moving. That sort of thing. Same thing with this guy up here. If he's firing, he's not moving. Same thing with all my units. It's the same story all around. If I'm firing, I'm not moving. All the guys in the middle, there's 1 unbroken unit in 06. That is it. Everyone else is DM'd. But tell me about the game situation right now, gentlemen. How much time does the American have to break all the Italian units?
Well,
It's got through the Italian defensive fire phase.
Correct. Big difference in the game, gentlemen. Big difference in your decision making of what you do during the game. I don't have a half turn. It doesn't end on the American turn. If I break a unit or 2 and then stay within line of sight, or such that he can't skulk away from me without getting shot to bits by either the Brits or the Americans, I'll have essentially the defensive fire phase or defensive fire, first fire, to shoot at him. So even though I don't really need to prep here, I essentially need to set up for the defensive fire for his turn. That's the big difference. If you look under that star, there's no half turn there. The Italians have to conduct their turn. What does that do for the Italians? Specifically this unit up here. What does that do for the Italians?
Well, certainly gives him at least some hope that he might rally a unit.
Right. It gives him a free self-rally, which if this unit is off of the corner, like down here, some way off of BFE, if he self-rallies, pretty much it's game. So let's continue with the American turn here real quick. And guess what happens? Rolls a 4, that son of a bitch pops up. He rolls a 12 with somebody else. He gets C. Oh yeah. The 6+1, the 7-0 leader here wounds himself after he ELR'd to a 6, so he's a 5+2. If he ever rallied. 5+2.
So the Italian leader shot himself in the foot.
Yeah, he says, I want to be prisoner. Don't kill me, Americans. He's the smart one. He's the smartest one on the map. 5+2 leader. Exceptional. Have him direct your units. Oh my god. 5+2 into a stone building. Holy shit. That's +5 modifier. Oh my god. Just cower. Cower instead. You'd be better off. And so those units again, he removes the DM from this unit. Remove your DMs, people, when you're in open ground. Again, he's got a rally phase to do that. If you keep that DM, you're not routing anywhere. You can't route anywhere. If I move my units out of line of sight to this guy, he doesn't get DM'd in the beginning of the route phase. So therefore, he would need 5s to rally these units. Therefore, I either need to A, fire upon him, B, move adjacent to him to DM him, or C, move and then fire on him later on from my new location. It's likely that's going to happen, but make your opponent do that. Take the DM off, make him forget about those guys, right? And then roll your double fives and win the game at the end of the game. Just do it right in front of him, you know? Don't make him ignore him. Don't think that these guys are free. This is not free. Remove all your DMs as you can, especially in this situation. He's not routing anywhere. He's not rallying. If these guys are DM, he's not rallying. So you can't keep it. There's no point. 0 point in keeping that unit DM'd. Does everyone see that? Does everyone understand? Get rid of your damn DM on that unit. Don't keep it. You're not at a destination. You're in upper ground. You have the option to keeping it. There's no way in hell you keep it in this situation. None. You have your turn comes up next turn. Tiny turn rally phase. They can't be DM'd. Lose it. Make him put the DM back on you. Make him fire. If I waste a fire over here, guess what? I'm not firing on the units that are a good order, which he needs to break anyway. So therefore, he may not even have anybody to fire on these guys. He may not be able to have that luxury. How many units are in the game? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Italian units need to be broken in this game turn. Okay, so him not DM'd, if they rally, again, that's another pretty good, much clear-cut win. So I do get lucky here. This is probably what decides the entire game. I gotta be honest with you. This decides the entire game. This shot at an 8+4. This decides the entire game. Because I roll the Britter, Snake Eyes. Do I cower?
Oh, wow. No.
Nope, no cowering. Getting any morale check on shit units, he's gonna break. So he breaks, and that's his MMG. Huge, huge distinction there. My worst unit, my worst firepower unit on the map breaks his strongest unit. This wins the game for the allies. Although a couple other things do too. So now my query here is, do I move to attack the 346 or do I fire upon him? If I move, I can get there. I can go 1, 2, 3, 4, right? I can get there and then fire 6+1 in the advanced fire phase, right? But what do I give him? What am I giving up?
You give him a shot coming into the woods.
Yeah. He gets a 6 even shot on me, and I'm giving up a 6+1. I may not even get my 6+1. I'm getting a 6+1 shot regardless whether I'm here or here. Either way, I'm getting a 6+1 shot. Are other units moving in there? I don't know. It may not be. I've got a unit here I got to deal with. I've got a unit here I got to deal with. Okay. I'm planning on this unit here to move down here, jump into close combat. That's 2 to 1, not a given. This unit here, I'm honestly going to send both my leaders to jump his ass in close combat. And my 747 might go there, or my 747 might have to take this guy at a 2 to 1, not a guarantee. The 747s on the top need to deal with this crap, right? He needs to deal with him, and these guys, I don't know what to do with these guys. These guys just have to go up and do some damage. So punch it through there. We talk about what needs to fire. I get nothing on my shot. That's bad. I move O'Neill, force those guys to DM. I drop a smoke here, and I drop a smoke here. 2 movement factors, same expenditure. I expend 2 movement factors. I have 2 squads. 1 drops here, 1 drops there. It's not 2, 4, 6. It's 2, 4. They both drop smoke at the same time.
Sure. Yeah.
And then we jump into the smoke here. This smoke here is for what? Why did I drop smoke there if I'm going to drop smoke here?
Keep
You're back to 747s some maneuvering room.
Which ones? I'm sorry?
The 747s in K9 have some possibilities
Yeah,
now.
it's only for that guy.
Yeah.
It's only for that guy, so he doesn't get shot by a 4-2. And that's not a good chart that you want to get shot on. Again, I DM these guys simply by moving adjacent to him. He does shoot at me. He subsequent fires because I expended 2 movement factors on the spot. I do fail my like a morale check. I think it was a morale check or something like that. Anyway, he happens to pin my leader. Very critical, and I'll tell you why that happens. When he pins my leader, what's the problem when he pins my leader at this situation?
If they want to jump up into 05, they have to be CX to do it.
And the other thing I do is I don't have the leader to take me to close combat. So the close combat potential here, even though I have 2 squads, when these squads move up there, they'll be CX'd because that will be expending all of their movement factors, right?
Yep.
If the leader were with them, that would not be expending all the movement factors and therefore would not be CX. And I'd have the -1 to ambush. Instead, I'm going to be CX'd. Now he has the benefit, the potential of getting the ambush by having the factor of 2. It's a factor of 2. I had a -1, now I've got a +1 to my die roll. Big difference.
And he gets a -1 to his, correct?
Well, not for me being CX'd. I just get a +1 for being CX'd. In close combat, he'll get a -1. So if he ambushes me, he'll have a -1 to close for CX and a -1 for ambush. Bad news. So pinning that leader, again, pins are horrible. You're not broken, but when you're moving and you pin, that's, especially to your leaders, that's the last thing you want to see happen. This guy just burns it down here. He makes it eat pretty easily. My stack, drop the medium. Why do I drop the medium when I'm CXing? Where am I going with this squad? Where am I going with these units up here?
1, 3, 4. You're probably trying to get to 09.
09.
You'll need 8 moving factors to do so.
Right.
Carrying the medium machine gun, one of those squads has only got 7.
Right. I could go here and make it there in 7. What's the problem going here? Right. Line of sight, no smoke, -2. That's the whole purpose of that smoke. And can't fire the medium in the advanced fire phase. Would it be good next turn? Yes, it would be good next turn, but I can't take it because I've got to get there this turn. This turn I have to be there. Got to drop the medium. Don't want to do it, but I got it. He does fire on me with the smoke modifier, and then I make it up the hill. And then what he does here, very interesting. Okay, he's already first fired. What he combines both of them as another fire group when he subsequent first fire, and then he first fires the squad. So he makes it like a 6 chart or something like that. So slightly better, 6 + 2 instead of like a 4 + 2. So slightly better, and no effect though, but good fire discipline there, and good use of your units in combining in future fire groups. This was a good shot. Moving him there and right there was a pretty good shot. Good management there. Briggs runs across here. He doesn't fire at them. Why? He's a shitty leader. Why fire on him? Plus I've got a 747 coming right here. That's why I moved Briggs first. Right? Remember what we did in the other game. If I move the 747, and let's say the 747 breaks here, and Briggs does the same maneuver, does Briggs get shot at? Highly likely
Yes.
that Briggs will get shot at. Mm-hmm. If the squad here breaks first, Briggs will most likely get shot at a 1 - 2. But since I move him first, no threat, well, why jump your ass in close combat? It's a 1-to-1. That's what I'm looking for. Don't want it, but that's all I can hope for. Stu could probably make it there. Squad might break. So that's where order of movement, very key. If he wants to fire him, he's first fired. As long as he survives, well, if he's 2 hexes away, then he could possibly make an end around over here and do something fancy-dancy, something a little bit different. So he does get shot at right there. There's the first fire shot. Look what happens. Snake eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Is that good or bad?
That's bad for him. Towers off the chart.
Bad for him, gentlemen. Don't forget, when you are on the receiving end of first fire shots, look for those doubles. Look for those doubles, especially against conscripted and low firepower units. That snake eyes, that 0 result on the IFT is on the 0 firepower column. No effect. He celebrated, said, yeah! I said, yeah! I celebrated with him because I said, well, you counted off the chart. So, Any final fired, for that matter. So I was immune, and then I didn't move adjacent to. I just moved the hill. So, knowing because you can't do anything else, keep focused that if he rolls doubles, he is final fired. Now, if he was like a 4, 6, 7 or something like that, you would have been dead, but make sure you put that final fire marker on him so he can't fire on the other guys. Why is that important? Because these guys back here have the potential to run down the road and jump the son of a bitch in CC as well. We don't want him subsequent first firing. If he final protective fires, that's fine. Why is it okay that he's final protective firing, gentlemen? Victory conditions. What are the victory conditions?
He'll break.
He'll break. Those are the victory conditions. So if he fires, he's helping us. If he fires that, which is almost his only chance, it's like us getting a free morale check on the guy. So he's helping us when he's final fired. Make sure you don't forget to final fire those guys when they cower. It's extremely important. You will see complete avenues of approach just open up to your units when these guys final fire. When they can't fire anywhere else but adjacent, you can move everybody that you thought you couldn't move up. It opens up the world to the rest of your movement, you know? And then I'm talking about how do I get to here? How do I get to there? So I'm thinking, okay, now my query here is, again, stack movement, okay? If I move one squad in there, right? If I only take one squad, how many movement factors will it take that squad to get there? From the machine gun.
Take 5.
5. He'll be CX, right?
Yeah.
Okay. If you're going to use him in the advanced fire phase, 4 firepower plus whatever fire group you're with him, plus 1, he's negating himself. At that point, he's adding nothing to the fire attack. Right? Because an 8 even or an 8 up 1 is terrible. You're negating him. Your 8 up 1 is the same thing as a 6 even chart. Same thing as a 6 even chart. You know, slight variation, but for all intents and purposes, it's 6 even. If I want the 8 even, I have to move them as a stack. My thoughts were to move one guy here or here to maybe bait the shot at a 6-2. But then again, my guy's got vaporized down here. If he's vaporized, you know, then I have a 4 even shot here. So it's like, you know, my leader is 9 morale. He's not a 7 morale leader. 8 morale is kind of iffy, but if you got an 8-1, that's all you can do. But he's 9 morale, so the leader is likely to withstand a morale check from this 6 firepower even shot. Therefore, he'll be able to highly likely apply his -1 leadership modifier to both of his units instead of just one. If I move the 4, 5, 7 in there, he's probably going to fire, leave residual of 2. Then my 9-1's got to take the 2 residual, and then the subsequent first fire from the same unit. So my 9-1 will be getting attacked twice. Now, can he attack me twice here anyway? Yeah, because I'm expending 2 movement factors in the woods, right? But the reason I move this stack is the same reason I move that stack. For the movement factors and the morale and the leadership that's associated with it. Again, this guy's in cover. He moved through smoke. Or with the use of smoke. This guy's using cover to get there. Does he get shot? He gets a 7. He got my morale check on me. He popped everyone. One guy got pinned. Not bad. Not bad. So that's a great situation I had here. He subsequent first fire rolled an 11 to effect. So let's burn through. He advanced fire. He final fires. I advance fire. I break a couple guys. A lot of these guys break. Let me just make sure. Route phase here. So this unit doesn't break, and these units don't break. These units are gone. This unit doesn't break. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 locations of unbroken units in the last American turn. Route phase comes. Those units can route away. Don't really care. They're DM'd and they're 5 morale. The leader takes interdiction. He Remember, when your leaders are wounded and they break, they aren't eliminated. They simply take another casualty reduction. You roll another die, and then it's +1, so he'll die. 4 + 1 makes 5. He dies. So both those units get evaporated. They weren't going to rally anyway. Not a big deal. This unit here, he's right here. He has LOS to Cooper on the hill. That's a sliver of an LOS, but it is there. He is then eliminated for failure out because he can't go anywhere. Okay, so he's gone for failure to route. This unit here, what can he do? Where's he going to route? This guy right here with a medium. Where's he going to route?
Nowhere. He's totally surrounded.
Correct. But can he route somewhere? I mean, but essentially go through the motions of routing.
Well, he could go there because he can't see them.
Correct.
But then he's done.
And then he's done. Correct. You would still have to do that. You would still go up there, and then essentially you're performing the route phase correctly by routing up here, because that would be up here would be just his destination. And then unfortunately we do have Americans there or allies there, and then he would be just dead. So he moves up there and dies because he's got nowhere to go. And the medium stays there. This unit here, what about him? Can he route somewhere?
You can go there.
P2.
Yes, this one actually can get the hell off the building, right? That guy can actually get off the hill. He can low crawl or route. If he routes, he takes an interdiction from this guy, an interdiction from this guy, but he low crawls. He'll never rally anyway, so it doesn't really matter. I just advance everyone to close combat. Luckily, my guy died over here. Now I move a guy over here and say, Stu, why are you moving him over here? You're not in close combat. Yada, yada, yada. Why does he go here? The better move probably kind of would have been over here. I got to be honest with you. But I'm thinking I have LOS from here to there. That might be a clear LOS. Why is that important? We mentioned it earlier. Is the game over now?
No, he's got one more rally
We still
phase.
have the Italian turn to go. So therefore, if I screw the pooch down here, I can fire into that melee with the 7 firepower. Can I do that from here? Yeah, right here probably would have been a better shot because I could have fired him over here, here, or here. Because I moved him here, I know I can get this shot at 12 plus 3. This is an iffy LOS, and I do not have LOS to these guys up here. Maybe not the best decision, but I think I planned for Savage to move up. Savage move his entourage here. Hopefully he'll pick the medium up, and then he'll have some firepower to bring bear. And this might be an LOS. That's another iffy one. So Savage in the middle has LOS to 3 potential units, 3 potential targets. Stu's got 2 potential targets. And then Cooper. What are we going to do with Cooper, gentlemen? What do you want to do with Cooper? What would you do? Remember the game. What's the victory conditions? Unbroken Italian multi-man counters. Not eliminated multi-man counters. Unbroken. Where would you go given the situation that the Italians have another turn? What's a good option? Would you would you jump 1 and 1 and take the 9-2 into the 3-4-6? Or jump the 3-4-6? Or jump the 1-3-6? Or what do you guys think about that situation and why? Again, close combat sucks. So we don't like close combat, do we? Especially at the end of the game. We don't like it. Because if he's alive in close combat, he wins. It doesn't say good order. It says unbroken. Big difference. Not like retaking Fearville. It's not good order units left in the building. It's unbroken Italian in the circle of doom, the circle of red. Big difference on how you approach the situation. If this were unbroken, yeah, we jump them both, right? We go boom, high on the hog, jump them both. Therefore, they're not good order, and you know, even if they're unlikely to kill us, we got it made. But it's unbroken. What I decide to do is I jump the 126. Why do I jump the 126?
It looks like unless you roll a 12,
Yeah, it's like
you eliminate them.
yeah, it's like a 15 or some shit like that. It's like 85 to 1. You know, it's pretty stupid. So what does that give me? That will eliminate that unit there. And next turn, what does that give me?
Gives you like a 20. Yeah, like a 24. 24 maybe 2 plus 3, something like that.
Right.
Plus,
This is, for all intents and purposes, a gimme, right? And next turn, it gives me defensive fire on this unit here. Can he move here? Yeah, he'll get killed. Can he move here? Yeah, he'll get killed. 24 chart. So I've got defensive fire opportunities for Cooper next turn. It's potential. And all I have to do is break him. He's got 6 morale. He's breaking on a 24 firepower chart -2. He's breaking. He's breaking, and probably his whole family back in Rome is breaking. So, and we've got Savage as well. Savage can also fire in that direction. He's got modifiers for CX units, but he's got some firepower coming. If I survive this fight here, he's got firepower coming. That's a 14 to 3. That's pretty damn good odds. But losable. This is the big one down here, is the 2 to 1. So let's go through the close combat. No ambush. I zap him into close combat with the 6. He gets nothing. Down here, he does. Does he ambush me down here, gentlemen?
you got ambush.
Yeah.
You ambush.
I got ambushed right here. He's a -1 leader. What about the conscript? What's his total modifiers in this ambush? I rolled a 5, he rolled 2, but what are his total modifiers?
0. It's +1 for inexperienced and -1 for the leader.
Correct.
Yep.
Don't forget the shit units that are lax, which are conscripts in green. Green without leaders are lax. Green with leaders are not lax. Okay? Green units are good with leaders. Green units are shit without leaders. Read up on your inexperienced personnel, and remember that the inexperienced personnel penalties are removed if they are in the same location as a leader. This is that occurrence. Conscript units are not green units, and therefore will always be penalized by the inexperienced personnel. Green units with a machine gun and a leader in his hex, even not directed, do not have the breakdown reduced by 1. Do not cower twice. Green units with a leader in the hex, not given leader direction, are exempt from inexperienced penalties. Gotta drive that home. Not a lot of green units in a lot of scenarios, but you will run across them. Some American 6.6 first line units go to second. There's some scenarios the second line units can go down to green. There are some scenarios with a couple green units. Just to reiterate that there is a difference between the green and conscripts. So he did ambush me with a neutral roll. I think he missed, and I rolled a 4 on my counterattack because I had a 2 to 1 +1. I think I killed him. That should have won. Yeah, because that was 7. I need a 6. So he died. I got a lucky roll here. This was the game here. That was the lucky roll. And then close combat up here. He ambushes me there as well. He ambushes me here as well. And therefore, that's the -1 CX and the -1 ambush. He has a -2. I think he goes against one of them, and he doesn't quite get the result. I unfortunately roll another 4. He gets vaporized, and then that's it. Then he only has a 1 unit left up here, and then he assault. I think he assault moves out over here to get away from Cooper, because we all know he can't take that shot, right, gentlemen? And he gets vaporized, and that's the game right there, because nobody else can rally. So, one hell of a shit show at the end, simply because there were 7 or 8 units left, and I had 2 movement phases to get to all of them, and I had to try to pull all the tricks out of my bag to get there. You know, dropping smoke. You know, dropping smoke here, taking covered paths. You know, trying to bait shots. I lost 2 units to baiting shots out. Didn't work. Moving units up here to cause units to failure to route or at least DM. Moving the other unit up over here that was way out of the battle, right? To get this unit so he has to route one direction. Even if I wanted him to route that direction, that's fine because my guys were closing in on him. That's fine for him to route up there. That was the intent. This was free. This was lucky on me. I really didn't see that, but we saw it later. I should have seen that earlier, but sometimes it's hard to plan for that. You never know what's going to happen. You know, his guy did survive to get over here. Good move on him to get the hell out of Dodge, you know, to try something like that. I had to send one unit over here. You know, again, lucky shot right here. Snake Eyes in the beginning, takes the medium machine gun out. Is this a different game with that medium in there? Oh, yeah. At that point, the Brits really got to make some morale checks. But little things like this stupid thing up here, you know, 85 to 1 odds, you know. I don't need to engage them both in close combat. One, they're CX. So if I put one guy over here, he's CX. If he gets ambushed, he's killable. He's killable. And then we got Cooper, got a 12 plus 1, 12 plus 2 with a CX. You know, that's doable. That's survivable. But when I take the easy shot here, plus he can't run backwards. I cover the top part of the map. It forces him to do something, and he chose to move. I think the best move here. I think the best move here. What do you guys think the best move might be? This is my opinion. Again, it's all based upon what you guys want to do. If he is unbroken, and this is the situation. Neil's in the street. This guy's CX. This guy's going to be CX'd. So that's a 12. This is a 12 plus 3. That's a 12 plus. This is a 12 plus 4. That's a 12 plus 3. This is a 850 plus 1. What do you think this unit can do to maximize his ability to stay alive? It's not great.
You mean besides surrender?
Besides surrender. Instead of moving here, he's going to be taking some heavy shots. He's going to be taking some 12 even shots, right? So
yeah.
Instead of 12 plus 4 and 12 plus 3, he's taking 2 12 evens. Not that good with 6 morale. His best bet, not that it's great, is, in my opinion, is to take the 8 plus is the 8 plus 3 shot here. That's his best bet. Because when he moves here, what's he need to roll to survive? A 12 plus 12 even shot. A 7's going to be what, a 2 morale check? So he needs a 4. He needs a 4 to pin. 2 4s to pin. Up here, if he rolls a 4, it's a 1 morale check. If that leader breaks, these guys are probably going to break. He can then just stay there. And then win the game. Because this 12 plus 4, 12 plus 3, those are much harder shots. Let the Americans take the 4s and 5s. Use your 4 to 5 that you're going to be taking a morale check with anyway to survive here on the one unit that could really decimate you. You're pretty much protected against these guys. You know, I mean, you could roll 5 or 6, sure. But if they roll average, you're taking pin task check, if that. And you don't care if you're pinned, because as long as you're unbroken, that's all that matters. I think the best move would take the 8 plus 3 shot there. It's not a great shot, but I think it's your best and only hope of survival. None of the smoke units. Although, again, it's a stretch. But it's pretty rough. I mean, we're losing the close combats. But there again, it just goes to show you, I mean, at turn 3, I had no broken units on the map for him. Turn 5, I pretty much had 1, 2, 3 broken units on the map for him. And I essentially broke all of his guys in the last turn and a half. It was kind of weird the way it came down to it. But this is the reason why you don't want to give up too early. I mean, I have a tendency to do that sometimes. I mean, I'll try to play it out, try my damnedest, but don't just say, oh, it's unwinnable. No, if it's winnable, you know, if you got to win 4 close combats, you got to win 4 close combats. I mean, it's as simple as that. Don't just give up don't just check out completely, and still try to continue to make sound decisions in your movement. You know, sometimes things won't happen. Two smokes here. Did that help a lot? Oh, hell yeah, it did. Oh, hell yeah, it did. If he did drop smoke and he had to drop out in the open, this guy's got like an 8-1 shot on him right here. 8-2. This guy's got a 4-2. You know, is he going to survive? No, those guys going to be pinned or broken. And then they subsequent first fire on Cooper coming out. At that point, that's GG. So, smoke. I mean, everything had to come together with this one. I snaked this guy over here. I won the close combat down here. And I smoked here. You know? You got to use your smoke. Use your smoke for that, people. So, like I say, just a very interesting scenario in terms of routes, in terms of, you know, trying to bait shots, using leaders to DM units, because no one fires on a leader running. He can't do anything to me, right? Right, gentlemen? He can't do shit. You know? Moved him here, free. He free. He moved here, just walked in like he owned the place. Briggs never got shot at, and he was critical in getting the positions where I needed to. If he necessary, if these guys broke over here, that's a 1-to-1. I locked down a 1-to-1 close combat against a conscript, and I could have ambushed him. So, leaders are extremely important, people. Extremely important. And, you know, route paths, again. Once you establish your defense, you better establish a way to get the hell out. A way to get the hell out. You know, if you have to give up a shot, if you have to give up my 2 shot to get over here, you move him back. You know, at least you could route away perhaps later. You know, but if you can't route away, you're just going to die. Especially when you're talking about Americans. If you're talking about Russians, you know, Brits with 4 firepower, you know, you could probably survive a turn or 2 up there. It's legit. But 747s, advanced fire, you're not going to do it. That's an 8. That's 16 firepower. It's not going to happen. With no leader, 16 plus 3. You just get the hell away. So again, I got lucky there, but it just turns out we did use the balance in this one. And if you guys, I definitely think the first time I played this with Vitas, or no, with Villas from Sweden, he just cremated my ass on like turn 1 and 2. And then I was looking at the Brits and counting, just CXing all the Brits on. If the Brits come on turn 4 instead of turn 3, they could barely get to the location they are now. They can barely get to this location here, to where they are. I mean, just barely. And so if the Americans have a tough time at it, then the Italians just move forward and they win the game by default. The Brits really can't get past to the hill. So it's really interesting. So I think if you play this one, definitely play with a balance. It will make a difference. It will make it more challenging. I mean, the Italians had a lot of opportunities to win this one anyway. I got lucky in this one, but that's just what happens in a dice rolling game. It just happens. But it was an exciting end of the game because there were opportunities everywhere for both of us to take advantage and have it flip-flop. And, you know, lots of things had to come into play. He mouthed his HMG and destroyed it the turn after that. So that obviously helps. I think he mouthed it twice during the game. But, you know, never count the HMGs out. They come back 50% of the time. So just an interesting scenario, gentlemen. The routes were the biggest thing that I want you guys to take away of. The routes, even though you see a big city and it's like, oh, there's a lot of locations here I can route to. Think again. You really need to think again. You make sure that, oh shit, there's a guy coming down here, and you know, especially when you got 6 morale, you know, you might want to hightail it back somewhere else, maybe, or jump ahead over here before he crosses the corner, some weirdness like that. But you know, there's a lot of risks involved in all that sort of thing. But yeah, this was a kind of a funky one. This route from here to here. You know, I want to make sure you guys understand that it's okay to end up in open ground. You just can't start and end in that location. Then you're a goner. So, and luckily I had this guy over here. Again, stopped him from routing to his other units. If he wasn't there, he's up in the building. Pure and simple. You know, potentially has a potential rally up there. Anytime you give a guy a chance to rally, they're going to rally on you. unfortunately. I mean, the conscript up here rallied up there, and I said to myself, "Oh, geez." I told Vetus, I said, "Oh, Matt's game. Now you got 7 units." I said, "I don't even have 7 attacks on you." But then I looked at the turn sequence again. It's like, wait a minute. I've got defensive fire phase, like you guys pointed out. I've got defensive fire phase. I've got another shot at him. I don't need to prep fire. I can move then defensive fire as long as I'm in position to be able to shoot him if he moves somewhere. And that's kind of what I tried to do, and it turned out to benefit me. So having the Italians the last turn in this scenario, in this replay, kind of screwed him. I ran out of time in the Americans' turn. I simply ran out of time. He had this guy up. If it ended on the American half turn, he wins. So, big difference. All right, so that was a crazy ending to a really tough game. Thought I lost it at turn 3 simply because he has too many units to deal with. We did the self-rally incorrectly for the 136 or the half squad that was on top of the map. I think he rallied him in the American turn. Not a big deal. I'll just assume that was a rally in the Italian turn because I didn't fire on him by then anyway, and he probably wasn't going to be fired upon because of the 4 morale that he needs to rally anyhow. Regardless, not a big deal. He had no impact other than just he came a turn early or a half turn early. Not a big deal. But you could see how the different route situations where broken units, leaders can come into play and to eliminate your units. Use leaders where you can to eliminate enemy units, or at least DM them. At least DM them. They have 8 movement factors when you CX them. Doesn't matter if you CX when you get next to them. They are then DM'd. If they are DM'd, they can no longer rally quite as efficiently. That's the key, and especially in this scenario where you have to have unbroken Italians to win the game. If they remain broken, you don't need to eliminate anyone. Thus the decision for me not to jump the 347 into close combat, because there's a possibility that I get ambushed and he kills me. Then I only have one 747 with the 9-2 there. That's survivable. I mean, it really is survivable. Whereas if I just take the guarantee, then I can destroy the guy later on. Puts me in a better position because of the Italian's half player turn that he needed to conduct. Anyway, thanks for watching. Join the Discord group. Join us on Tactical Tuesday with your games. We'll go over your games, see what both you guys did right, both of you guys did not so efficiently, and we'll have a lot of fun on it, lots of good discussion, and we'll see you next time on Tactical Tuesday.